Hoover Ceramics at Home, how to build a lidded box. This is a 4-inch lidded box that has designs on all 4 sides. And design on the lid. And the lid is built with a flange, which is the piece of clay that is attached on the inside that holds the lid in place when you attach it on, therefore it doesn't slide off. To build the ceramic box, you will need some 1/4-inch thick slabs, enough for 6 sides of the box. This box is going to be 4 inches by 4 inches. You need the slabs to be the thickness of a large paint stir stick, which is 1/4 inch. You're going to need 2 stencils, one for the sides of the box and one for the top and the bottom. I'll explain that in a minute. You're going to need a knife and a fork, that's for cutting and for scoring. And you're going to need a straight edge and a ruler. I suppose you could use the same, both for the same, or one for both of them. And you're going to need slip. Okay, I'm now going to show you how to make the stencils for the 4-inch square box, which is, I'm making this box to be 4-inch square. I need the base to be 4 1/4 inch, and that is because the thickness of the slabs is 1/4 inch, which is the thickness of the stick that I use to roll them out with. And because the walls are 1/4 inch thick, when they get stacked on top of the base, they take up 1/4 inch of that slab. So I need to make it 1/4 inch bigger. And that'll make a little bit more sense as we go along. So to begin with, I need to make a stencil for a 4-inch square and then a 4 1/4 inch square. So to do that, I'm using a manila folder because it's nice and strong. It can be reused over and over again. So I'm measuring out 4 inches and drawing a straight line right along the edge here, trying to get it parallel to the edge as much as I can by eyeballing it. There's my 4-inch side, and now I need 4 inches going this way, but I want to make sure it's a 90-degree angle. So in order to get a 90-degree angle, just use a spare piece of paper, line it up with the edge here, use this as your 90 degrees. You can line up your straight edge, your ruler, with the paper. You're going to move the paper and draw your line, 4 inches. Same thing again. Make sure I got this exactly 4 inches. Yep, stop right at 4 inches. Okay, this is the sides. This is top and bottom. I just need to cut them out. Okay, now we're going to use the stencils to trace in the clay. For the sides, you need 4 of them, and for the top and for the bottom. So to do that, you're going to need your slabs, you're going to need a straight edge and your knife. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First, we're going to start with 4 sides. Here we go. Make sure we got room for this. 2 of these in here. Yes. Okay, there's the 4 sides. Continuing on, I'm going to make the top and the bottom and the stencil here. Take the 4 sides and put them in the bag. Yep. Top and the bottom. Now that I have the top and the bottom sides cut out, I'm going to show you why the top and bottom are different than the sides. So here we'll take one as the bottom piece. Remember, I measured it out to be 1/4 of an inch bigger. So when I set this on the base, it only reaches over to 1/4 inch away from the end. And that is the space that this will fit in. And so on. So it fits along the top. It needs to be evened out a little bit, and then the top will go right on top, and that makes the box. It gets all sealed up, and then we cut the lid. And attach one on, and then keep moving around and adding on the other sides. Got my fork, got my slip, sponge, and water. Okay, and my knife. There it is. Now it's time to put the lid on. Before you put the lid on, you want to just puff it up a little bit from the inside so it arches up a little bit. You don't want it sagging in, so if anything you want it popping out. So I like to arc it up a little bit. Just okay, flip and score. Okay, the cube is built and ready to be decorated before the lid is cut and the feet are added. Now that I've finished building the cube for the lidded box, it is time to decorate the four sides and the top. I've chosen to go with a theme of coffee, which is very common for me, but and I'm picking out 5 ways to write coffee, say coffee from different parts of the world. I'm gonna cut out the Chinese characters. I like the Bohemian, Cava, Italian cafe, Spanish cafe, and then coffee is known to originally come from Yemen, and this is how you actually say wine in Yemen, but that what was used to depict coffee in the very beginning, and that's how from Kawe, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it translated into coffee as we know it. So this word is going to be probably in the front, and the Chinese characters will be on the top. That's my plan. Always have a plan. As I work with slab, I keep a plastic bag or a Tupperware to keep pieces of slab that I have cut off from larger pieces when I'm building something. And this is what I will be using to cut out my letters, then will get added on to the box. To cut out letters, I like to get rectangles for the size of the letter that I need, and then use the smaller rectangle to draw in the letter and then cut out the letters. Starting with the word cafe, Spanish. keeping the letters that I've cut out in the plastic bag on top of other clay, moisten them up with a little bit of water to make sure that they remain leather hard but not too dried out. Okay, so now I'm going to trace the Chinese characters into this piece of clay because the characters will fit across. Okay, continuing with building the lidded box, I have cut out all of the different letters that I need for writing coffee in different languages and having it on all 5 sides of the box, the 4 sides and the lid. So I have those ready to go. So all I need to do now is slip and score and put those onto the box, which is just a sealed cube right now, leaving room for the lid to be cut here. best way I found to make the lids is where we drew our line. The slab that we attached to the top is up here. This is part of the wall. So I will make a flange on the inside of this lid so it inserts into the body, and you'll see that later on. But right now I'm going to remove the lid by slowly cutting along the line that I already made. I'm going to go ahead and use the plastic knife because that is what students are using at home for the most part, and I'm going to see how well it works. Got the serrated part down here, so I have to be careful. I can't place this down on top of the letters, otherwise I can mess them up. That's why I've got this cushion here, so I can hold it at kind of an angle. You want to make sure to cut, if you use a sharp knife like this one, whichever knife you use, you have to make sure that you're cutting at the angle of the box. So this is the angle that I have it tilted at, so I want to be cutting to make the top of the wall straight. I want to make sure to be a 90-degree angle to the wall when I'm cutting. I am going to try and use the plastic knife. So down here's where the serrated part is, and I think that's going to be the easier part to cut with. So I'm trying to, you don't want to try and cut all the way through on the first go. You want to get part way in. Now that the lid has been removed, we just need to add, we'll clean it up in here, add the flange so that the flange, the piece of clay, inserts into the inside of the box, which holds the lid secure. It won't slide off. First we need to clean it up. If you are unsure that you are going to be able to remember which way this lid fits on, depending on your design, you should make sure to mark the side so you know. You can erase the mark later, but this will just let you know where it lines up. So the lid will always line up there, like that. You can erase that later. That's just to help you remember where it goes after you attach the flange. To attach the flange, we just need a piece of clay that hangs down at an equal rate around the inside of this lid. Remember not to smash your letters. Your designs have some padding. These pieces of slab are what I'm going to cut out the flange from. Okay, so now that the flange is roughly put in, it still needs to be, rounded out, filled in to look like one piece going around there, but I want to make sure that it fits. These pieces are going to have to bend, the flanges are going to have to bend in probably a little bit as I attach them inside. I want to make sure that everything fits nice and tightly before I finish up any more. So if you needed to mark your box to remember where your lid goes, you need to look for your mark and put that, try and get the lid to fit there. You'll notice it's not fitting because of the corners. I'm just going to try and bend those in a little bit. Everything may need to bend in a little bit, push in. It's getting there. You want it to be a really nice, snug fit. So as soon as you get it to the right place, I'm just going to go ahead, so it's held up. It's held up back here, I think. Really tight, and it's a little bit wet, so it's sticky. So I'm going to pull it back off carefully. You do not want to change the shape of your lid, otherwise it won't match up with your box. Okay. So all I need to do is fill in the gaps. Small piece of clay. Okay, so now that we have the lid with the flange on, cut, removed, and the flange is on there, want this to dry together, so make sure you have it exactly how you want it. It should dry with the lid on there. It makes it fit the best. The last thing I want to do is add 4 feet on the bottom. The reason I do this last is because I want to make sure that the clay is leather hard. It does the weight of the box doesn't end up smashing the feet. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the 4 squares that I already measured out, and I'm going to add these as feet on the bottom. And what this does is it just lifts up the box just a tiny bit and presents it better when it's sitting on the counter shelf or whatever. And also when you're glazing, you only have to wipe off the 4 feet instead of the entire base of the box.